You told yourself you'd take a deep breath, and you did. You breathed, and you're still spiraling. Because here's what nobody tells you about anxiety and overwhelm. Your nervous system is not a thought problem, it's a body problem. And telling a dysregulated nervous system to just breathe is like handing someone a Band-Aid when what they need is surgery. Today, we're going beyond a deep breath. I'm going to walk you through 3 somatic exercises, body-based tools that speak directly to your nervous system in the only language that it actually understands. Not words, not affirmations, sensation. Welcome to Elisha's Space, your sanctuary for healing, growth, and the conversations we don't always know how to start. I'm Elisha. I'm a counselor, an author, and someone who has sat with women in some of their most overwhelming moments. In my office, on this podcast, and honestly, in my own body, because this work isn't just clinical for me, it's personal. And what I want to give you today is practical. I don't want you to just understand nervous system regulation by the time we're done. I want you to have experienced it. So clear some space around you if you can. If you're driving, you can listen through the first section, and we'll do the practices together when you arrive. Before we dive in, let's settle into the space together. I want to start where we always start. Take a moment and find a comfortable position. Feet on the floor if you can. Let your hands rest open on your lap, not gripped, not holding anything, just open. Now, I want you to take a deep breath in your nose. Count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And release through your mouth. 4, 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll do that one more time together. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice where you feel that in your body. Where did the breath land? Is there softening anywhere? Even a fraction of softening. Is your nervous system beginning to listen? That's where we're starting, and we're about to go so much deeper. Here's something I want you to understand before we get into these exercises, because it will change the way you relate to your own body. Your nervous system has one job: to keep you alive. That's it. And when it senses danger, real or perceived, it activates your stress response. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, your digestion slows, your vision narrows, and your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline so that you are ready to fight, ready to flee, ready to freeze. This is not a flaw in your design. This is a miracle of design. The problem is that many of us, especially those of us who grew up in chaotic homes, who experienced trauma, who lived in environments where we had to be constantly scanning for the next thing, our nervous system learned to live in that activated state all the time. The alarm never got the signal that it was safe to turn off. So you walk into a Tuesday and your body feels like it's surviving a crisis, even if nothing is technically wrong. Deep breathing helps, and I will always recommend it, but it operates at a relatively slow rate of change in the nervous system. What I'm sharing today works faster because these exercises work bottom up, from the body to the brain, rather than top down, from the mind trying to talk the body into calm. Your body has its own wisdom. Today, we are learning to activate it. And I want to pause here and say this to you because I think it matters. Psalms 139 tells us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. The word fearfully in Hebrew, Yareh, carries the sense of awe, of reverence, God was in awe of what he was making when he made you. That includes this nervous system of yours, these physiological responses, this body that shakes when it's frightened and sighs when it releases. That is not dysfunction. That's divine engineering. When we do these exercises, we're not trying to override what God built. We're learning to cooperate with it. The first exercise is called the physiological sigh. And before you roll your eyes and think, Elisha, this is just breathing again, stay with me. This is not the same as a deep breath. Neuroscientists at Stanford, Dr. Andrew Huberman and his team, have studied the specific pattern extensively, and what they found is remarkable. The physiological sigh is the fastest way to shift your nervous system from a state of stress activation to a state of calm. Faster than meditation, faster than a cold plunge, faster than a standard slow breath. Here's why. When we're anxious or overwhelmed, tiny air sacs in our lungs, called alveoli, collapse. This builds up CO2 in our bloodstream, and high CO2 is one of the primary signals your brain reads as danger. It's part of why anxiety feeds itself. Your body's chemistry is literally telling your brain to keep the alarm on. The physiological side directly collapses that CO2 buildup with a very specific pattern. A double inhale, 2 sniffs through the nose, followed by a long, slow exhale through the mouth. That double inhale reinflates those collapsed alveoli, and the extended exhale, which activates your vagus nerve, sends a clear message to your brainstem. The threat is resolving. One repetition can shift your physiology. One. That's how powerful this is. Let's practice together. You can do this anywhere, at your desk, in the school pickup line, in the bathroom of the office where everything feels like too much. First, a regular inhale through your nose. Just fill the lungs about halfway. Then, without exhaling, a second quick sniff through the nose, atop of the lungs completely. Now, a long exhale through your mouth, longer than feels natural. Let it all the way out. Do that once more on your own. Notice that. Notice what shifted, even slightly. Maybe your shoulders dropped a fraction. Maybe there's a warmth in your chest. Maybe the tightness behind your eyes loosened just a little. That is your vagus nerve activating. That is your body stepping out of crisis mode in real time. You can repeat this cycle 2 to 3 times, but honestly, most people feel it in 1. The book of Job, chapter 33 says, "The Spirit of God has made me. The breath of the Almighty gives me life." Your breath is not incidental. It is sacred. It is the very mechanism through which the first human being received the life of God, and one of the primary mechanisms through which your body finds its way back to safety. There is something holy about learning to breathe on purpose. Before we go to exercise 2, if you're finding this helpful, I want to ask you to do one thing. Share this episode with one woman in your life who you know is carrying more than she should right now. She doesn't need to know the words nervous system regulation. She just needs to know she's not alone in her body. And this might be exactly what she needs to hear today. Okay, let's keep going. The second exercise is the one I personally find the most fascinating, and it's also the one most people look at sideways when I first mention it. It's trembling, intentional trembling. And I need you to stay with me for just a moment, because what I'm about to tell you is going to change the way you see your body's stress response entirely. Have you ever noticed that after something frightening, a near accident, a difficult confrontation, receiving terrible news, your body shakes, your hands tremble, your legs feel unsteady? Most of us try to stop that shaking. We grip, we hold still, we tell ourselves, pull it together. But here's what Peter Levine, the founder of Somatic experiencing, discovered after decades of studying trauma and the nervous system. That trembling is not weakness. That trembling is your body's built-in discharge mechanism. Animals in the wild experience this. After a zebra escapes a lion, after the threat has passed, it literally shakes. Its whole body trembles, sometimes for minutes, and then it shakes its head, takes a breath, and returns to grazing. The stress cycle completes. The cortisol releases. The body resets. Humans are the only animals that override this mechanism. We hold it in. We white knuckle through it. And so the charge, the energy that stress generates, gets stuck in our muscles, our fascia, our tissues, and we wonder why we can't relax even when we're safe. Intentional trembling, also called neurogenic trembling or TRE, tension and trauma releasing exercises, invites your body to complete what stress started. It is not a breakdown. It is a breakthrough. It is the nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. Here's how we do this together. You can stay seated for this one. You don't need a lot of space. Start by pressing your feet firmly into the ground. Feel the floor beneath you. That contact matters. It tells your nervous system that the ground is here, that you are supported. Now, I want you to squeeze your thigh muscles, just your thighs, as tight as you can hold them. Hold, hold, hold. Now release. Do that again. Squeeze and release. One more time. And this time, when you release, see if you can allow any trembling that wants to come to come. Don't force it. Don't manufacture it. Just permission. Release. If trembling came, even a little flicker in your legs or hands, that is your nervous system responding exactly as it should. If it didn't come yet, that's completely okay. For many of us who have spent years suppressing this response, it takes time for the body to trust that it's safe to release. You can practice this standing with slightly bent knees for a stronger effect. You can also simply shake your hands out for 30 seconds, loose, floppy, like you're flicking water off your fingertips. Even that small shake begins to move the charge. The goal is not a violent shaking. It's a gentle, voluntary quiver. Think of it less like a seizure and more like a tuning fork, finding its natural resonance after holding still for so long. From a clinical standpoint, this works because trembling literally metabolizes cortisol in the muscles. It completes the physiological stress cycle. It is evidence-based, it is measurable, and it is completely free. And from a spiritual standpoint, I think about Psalms 22 says, I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. David was describing the felt sense of overwhelm in his body. He wasn't just emotionally distressed. His bones felt disjointed. His body was carrying it. And yet, by the end of that same psalm, he is declaring, "For he has not despised or scorned the suffering of the afflicted one. He has not hidden his face from him, but has listened to his cry for help." The deliverance moved through the body, not around it. God is not asking you to transcend your nervous system. He's meeting you in it. The third exercise is the one I use most often in clinical sessions because it can be done invisibly. No one in the room needs to know you're regulating your nervous system while the conversation is happening. It is called the orienting response, and it's rooted in Polyvagal Theory, the work of Dr. Stephen Porges, and specifically in how our visual system communicates with our nervous system about safety. Here's the science. When we are in our threat state, anxious, hypervigilant, overwhelmed, our visual field narrows. Literally, our eyes focus forward. Our peripheral vision collapses. This is called tunnel vision, and it's not a metaphor. It's a measurable neurological change. Your body is scanning for the specific location of a specific threat. That narrowed gaze maintains the stress response. As long as your eyes are locked in threat scanning mode, your nervous system stays activated. The orienting response is the reversal of this. It is a slow, panoramic gaze, moving your eyes and your head gently around the room, taking in your actual environment. That signals your brainstem. There is no predator in the room. The environment is known. The present moment is safe. The reason this is so powerful is that it leverages the direct connection between your optic nerve and your vagus nerve. Your eyes can turn off your stress response. No one teaches us this. I'm going to teach you this. Wherever you are right now, if you can see your surroundings, I want you to try this with me. Let your gaze soften. Not a hard, focused stare. Soft eyes. The way you might look at a beautiful landscape when you're not trying to identify anything specific. Now, slowly, and I mean very slowly, begin to move your eyes to the right. Not just your eyes. Let your head follow gently as if you're reading the room for the first time. Keep going, all the way to the right edge of what you can see. And now back, through center to the left, slow, unhurried. Take it all the way to the left. And back to the center. Do that cycle one more time on your own, even slower this time. Notice what happens in your body as you do this. Many people feel a spontaneous sigh arise, that physiological sigh we practiced earlier. That's not coincidence. That's your vagus nerve completing its cycle. That's your brainstem receiving the message. The environment is safe. The threat has passed. You can come down now. You can combine this with sound. If you're comfortable humming, even just a quiet the vibration in your throat further activates your vagus nerve through the laryngeal branch. Try it now if you like. Soft panoramic gaze, gentle hum. You just activated 2 branches of your vagus nerve simultaneously. This is available to you in any boardroom, any difficult conversation, any waiting room where the anxiety is rising and you need to come back to yourself. Jesus said in Matthew 6, in the middle of the Sermon of the Mount, look at the birds of the air. Look at the flowers in the field. He was not teaching botany. He was teaching orienting. He was saying shift your eyes. Widen your vision. Take in the provision that is already present and the environment around you. This spiritual practice of gratitude, of wonder, of noticing, these are not just devotional exercises. They are nervous system regulation. They work because your Creator designed an orienting response into your neurobiology that responds to beauty, to presence, to the steady reality of the world around you. When David wrote, I lift my eyes to the hills, where does my help come from? I wonder if he knew he was giving his brainstem a safety signal. Lift your eyes, beloved, not just spiritually, literally. Your healing is built into your body. So let's bring this all together, because these 3 exercises are most powerful when you know when to reach for each one. The physical sigh and the double inhale and long exhale is your immediate intervention. Something just happened. Your heart is pounding. Your thoughts are racing. You need to calm down, and you need to calm down now. 1 to 3 cycles. That's it. The neurogenic trembling, the intentional shaking, is your release practice. Use it after a difficult conversation, after a hard day, after a therapy session or a conflict. Give your body permission to complete what stress started. 5 to 10 minutes is enough. Some days it will look like a gentle leg shake at your desk. Some days it'll look like shaking your hands out in the parking lot before you walk into the house. The orienting response, the panoramic gaze, is your maintenance practice. It is available to you in real time, in any context. Use it in transitions, at the beginning of a meeting, before you pick up your children, when you feel that familiar tightening in your chest that says something is building. Together, these 3 practices address what I see in so many of the women I work with, what I call chronic incomplete stress cycles. Your body starts the alarm, something interrupts, and the alarm never fully turns off, day after day, until your baseline becomes hypervigilance, and you can barely remember what rest feels like. 3 exercises are an invitation to complete those cycles, to tell your nervous system the truth. The danger has passed. You are safe. You can come home now. I want to say something to the woman who has been told that her anxiety is spiritual weakness, that if she just prayed more, she'd feel better. Your nervous system is not a character flaw. Your dysregulation is not evidence of insufficient faith. You are not failing God by feeling overwhelmed. You are a human being, made in the image of God, who wept at the tomb of his friend, who sweat drops of blood in a garden the night before his death, who, in his most human moments, showed us what it looks like to feel everything and still trust. Your body is not the enemy of your spirit. Your body is the home of your spirit. And what we do when we learn to regulate our nervous system, when we breathe on purpose, when we shake off what we've been holding, when we lift our eyes and widen our gaze, is we tend the home. That is not unspiritual. That is stewardship. Before I let you go today, here is your challenge, your homework, your invitation. I want you to pick one of these 3 exercises, just one, and practice it every day for 7 days. Not when you're in crisis, as preventative, in the morning before the day asks things of you, or in the evening as a signal to your body that the workday is done. One practice, 7 days. And I want you to notice, not evaluate, not judge, just notice whether your baseline begins to shift, whether the edge of anxiety softens slightly, whether sleep comes a little easier, whether you have a half second of pause before you react that you didn't have before. That half second, that is regulation taking root. I would love to hear from you. Come find me on social media, leave a comment, send me a message, and tell me which exercise you're working with and what you notice. Your story matters to this community. If this episode spoke to something you've been carrying, I want to invite you to explore what individual counseling might look like through Restoring You Christian Counseling. You don't have to keep white-knuckling through it alone. Healing is possible, and it is for you. Until next time, take good care of the body God gave you. And remember, you are not broken. You are becoming. I'm Elisha, and this is Elisha Space.